Airstrike.
There's been talk about unveiling a Superman story having Clark Kent be actually African American. So I'm going to literally say my short piece on this, and then Larry, I'm gonna have you take it away. I noticed that ever since that Black Panther came out in 2018, a lot of people have finally gotten to a point where they have finally accepted, hey, let's start telling stories of African American superheroes and characters. And I'm going to be honest. Some fans look at this as a lazy attempt to rehash a popular story and just repaint the ethnicity of who Superman is. Take that for what it is. Like, if you're going to tell a story from a black perspective about how somebody who's Kryptonian that's African American becomes Superman in a different Earth, let's make the story a little bit interesting. That's what I'm concerned about, is them just rehashing it, making everybody just try to make it a new thing, but all they did was rehash it and then change the ethnicity of the characters around. I hope they don't make it that lazy. So I'm just saying I'm all for it because I'm all for representation for everybody. However, it better not be lazy, rehash storylines that we've seen in Superman before, but just the ethnicities are different. Larry, what's your thoughts?
So to complement what you said, you got to follow the money, right? What they're doing here is not necessarily new. So, and I'm always going to take a dump on DC when I get a chance, but because I'm a Marvel guy. But so Marvel did this with Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man. They did this with Thor when they made her a woman. They did this with Ironheart, I think is her character, when they replaced Tony Stark with that black young female. So they've been toying with the idea of using different races and different, I guess, gender fluid type of characters. So they've been toying with this in the comics for a while. So I'll start there. But where you follow the money at is the two most popular characters in comic book realms. You have Superman and you have Spider-Man and you have Batman, or however order you put them in.
That's the big three.
Yeah. So when they saw the success of Miles Morales, even after the initial pushback, which is the Black Spider-Man for those who don't follow comics, when they saw the Black and Hispanic Spider-Man. So when they saw the success of that, the comics went through the roof. He got a new video game on PS5. It's one, actually, I think it's probably top 10 selling video games of all time at this point. There's the talks of Miles Morales joining the MCU. So they're seeing the money there and they're saying, we can probably replicate that and do it with our most popular character, which is Superman. So it's not necessarily a new concept. And of course, you have the success of Black Panther, but we've had Blade and some other successful black films about black superheroes. But yeah, so it's just follow the money. And I think the Miles Morales part really pushed DC to, maybe we should do our spin on this. It's a cash cow. People are buying in. So there will be some that put like Star Wars, where they had it was the Black Stormtrooper, and there was a big pushback about that. People still went to the film. It still made a lot of money. So, it's always going to get a little pushback, but, like I said, it always comes back to the almighty dollar.
Yeah. Brian, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, according to the money, like what Larry was just talking about, one of the things I kind of Googled was that there was 42 million people, African-American people in the United States of America. So hypothetically, if you get all those people to buy one ticket, you're looking at $1 billion film. So you got to think about that if you're talking about targeting. Now, in terms of the racial stuff, swapping a character black, swapping a character, something like that. I think there have been experiments that led to this point. And I think some of them were very successful. I think the best one was Rocky and Creed. I thought that was the a really smooth transition, because I think there was a really good story to be had with Creed. Creed was a really lovable character from the original Rocky series. And then you're going into some real good film history with Rocky 1 and the way they built that franchise. So that's really, really a good example of how it can transition smoothly. With the Miles Morales Spider-Verse thing, I thought Marvel did other things that really made Miles appeal to people too, not just in the film and in the comic book, but the video game's been very successful. And I'm not even a video game guy like that, but I know from a lot of people telling me that this second video game with Miles Morales was really a heavy hitter and a big thing. So then you also got Marvel with Captain America, and that's been pretty successful. The thing about the Clark Kent thing is, at that point, you're kind of being controversial right off the top. And are you doing this because you really believe it, or are you doing this to try to create a buzz of controversy to get people talking about it immediately? I wonder about that sometimes, because I think sometimes people do, in this society of social media, literally bring controversy to themselves or to the projects just to get people talking about it and to feel things out. And I don't think social media is necessarily the place where you figure out where we draw the line on this or that or that or this. I guess another thing that kind of confuses me about the Clark Kent character, if he's going to be black, is Lois Lane also going to be black? Because if you're trying to do this edgy thing and you make Clark Kent black, but you keep Lois Lane white, are you being edgy for like the interracial relationship or whatever? I mean, I'm curious to that. How committed are you really to doing this if you really want to do it? I think that there's a need for Black representation in superheroes. I think Black people wanted that for a long time. I think a Black Superman is a really cool thing if it's done correctly. I would have really liked to have seen Idris Elba play James Bond. I would have personally liked that a lot, because I think he's an English man. I think James Bond's an English character, and I could see that right off the top. With the Superman thing, I don't think it's ever lazy, because I think it takes a lot of work to do any project. I think it takes a lot of work to write it, to cast it, to do your best effort. So I don't think it's ever lazy. I think, as Larry said, sometimes you're aiming for the dollars, or you're trying to do something to kind of satisfy a crowd or whatever. But when artists actually get involved in the project, I think you should kind of go into it blind and have, even if you're nervous about whether or not this works or not, you should be open-minded to the fact that these people are doing the best they can, and they really want to knock this out the park. It's like optimism versus cynical kind of thing. And if you're going into the project looking for problems, you're going to find problems. And if you're looking for good things, you're going to find good things. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man.
Hey, you know what? I will say this. Batman's next. Batman's next. They already have a Black Batman in the comics, depending on what storylines you follow. But so I think we're going to start seeing this more often. I mean, they have the Miss Marvel coming out with Kamala Harris. So they're, doing the Middle Eastern female thing. And, so we're going to start seeing this being more of a regular thing. I think it's going to be almost a non-conversation in 10 years. I think it's just going to be a thing that we see pretty regularly.
I'm for it. I just want those characters to be done justice. You know what I mean? I don't want no campy, we trying to be just spicy to get, income coming in. I want these characters to be the same grounds that we look at Batman and Superman as they look now. I want that same respect for characters of African American descent that happen to be superheroes.
I was thinking, I think as long as they don't put Clark Kent in Compton, I'm good.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Like, don't put him in Compton. Don't put him in, middle of Chicago somewhere. Like, make it like a hood story. Like, don't
make it a hood story.
Yeah, as long as we don't do that, I'm good.
Yeah, keep it. Not every Black person comes from the hood. Don't make it a hood story. Don't feel like you got to turn. Yeah, I don't want to hear Superman talk about Crenshaw. I don't want to hear that. Stop it.
I don't want to see him banging. I don't want to see him carrying a flag.
Dropping the new EP.
Right. I don't want to hear Clark Kent talking about 4 wings and fries, and he on corner of North Avenue. I don't want to hear that. You know, that's just me. That's just me, man.